I think the president's action on steel probably had something to do with the timing of the decline, but I don't think it was the factor which determined the amount of the decline. For some time, stocks have been rising at rather rapid rates. Corporate earnings have not been rising. Dividends have not been increasing, and it's not to be unexpected that perhaps a correction of some of those unusual factors on the upside might occur on the downside.
Well, some observers from time to time say that the stock market is a forecaster of events to come. Can you predict, or would you care to take a look at what you think this might be forecasting, the decline?
The stock market has been a good forecaster from time to time in the past. It also has been a rather poor forecaster occasionally. For example, the last 4 or 5 years, the stock market has been booming along and presumably forecasting better business, which has really not materialized. Corporate profits are not any better than they were 5 years ago, but stock prices are 50% higher or thereabouts. So maybe the stock market is really correcting a previous incorrect forecast this time rather than making a new correct one.
Well, in a nutshell, Mr. Buffett, can you give us your opinion of just exactly what happened, what caused it?
Well, there was undoubtedly some forced selling the week when the stock market hit the news. The previous week, prices had declined about 6% for the week on average, and there was some stock that was forced upon the market both by margin calls from brokers and some that was forced out by improperly secured bank loans. And this in turn set up a self-generating mechanism on the downside for a while, which we may have seen the last of and which we may not have seen the last of.
I'm going to start with his 2 famous rules, which say don't lose money, never lose money. That's the first one, and the second one is don't forget rule number 1. There's no way that you can make money if you're losing money. And then the other lessons that I've learned are living within your means. Warren Buffett walks the walk and talks the talk. He doesn't spend much. He still stays at the home that he purchased 40 years ago. At one time, he bought a hail damaged car because it was cheaper. And obviously, when you apply this in your own life, you have to adjust this to suit your goals and your ambitions. If you want to go far, then you have to sacrifice more. Then another lesson that I learned is partnering. Warren Buffett partnered with Charlie Munger, and he has been with him for years. He also partners with the management of the companies that he invests in. So Warren Buffett doesn't take over companies as such. He invests in them solely for the purpose of income accumulation or wealth accumulation. So he partners with management and works with them to better his investment portfolios. His investment philosophy has taught me a little. His investment philosophy has taught me quite a number of things, and one of the things is buy a stock that you're prepared to own for 10 years or more. So Warren Buffett says his favorite holding period is forever. He also looks for simple business models with good management. Sorry for the typo there. This is really something that has saved him from the scams that have taken Wall Street. He also buys into businesses that are doing so well that an idiot could run it, because he says sooner or later one will. So he buys simple businesses with simple business models that anyone can run, and these companies seem to do very well for him. Other people do well with other business model types that they invest in, but Warren Buffett chooses this, and I have seen the logic behind it, and I do the same with my investments. Also, on investment philosophy, he buys exceptional companies at fair prices rather than fair companies at exceptional prices. And this really goes to show that he wants to have a very high margin of safety on the stocks that he buys. And then price is what you pay and value is what you get. So go for companies with price that is below the value. So this I will say that value is what you get. So for a share, value is really the capital gains or the rise in price plus the dividends discounted back to the present. And obviously price is what the stock market quotes, and this varies with market sentiment. So prices can go up in a bull market and they can go down in a bear market. One of the most important things that I've learned from Warren Buffett and value investing that he is known for is that Warren identifies the companies that are exceptional, but he makes his move when the market dips. So he identifies these exceptional companies and then he is patient until there is a market dip or what he describes as a sale. That's Benjamin Graham in The Intelligent Investor. He says when the market goes down, this is actually a sale. So it's a discount in share prices. So that's when he actually buys his stock. And then he also has taught me psychological fortitude, which is described in Benjamin Graham, which is his mentor. It says that Mr. Market gauges the feelings of Wall Street, which vary from two extremes, which are euphoria and pessimism. So he doesn't let the market movements influence the way that he invests, but the market sentiment or the market movement, they are just an indicator for him to actually buy. When the market goes low, he buys, and when the market goes low, he's a contrarian. So by nature, he buys when the market sells and sells when the market buys. And then there are some general lessons that I've learned from Warren Buffett, and is that always have a mentor. Warren Buffett had Benjamin Graham as a mentor, and he used a gut feeling most of the times in his purchases, and then he also reinvests profits back into the business. He is paid a salary of $100,000. So if you check on most of the Fortune 500 CEOs, they're paid millions of dollars, but Warren Buffett is only paid a salary of $100,000, and he basically invests the rest into his company, and that's why his company has grown for. He has done returns of compounded yearly returns of close to 20% every year, ever since the start of Berkshire Hathaway. He stays a long ways from Wall Street, so is not pressurized into their traditions. And a lot of people who know the Wall Street traditions, they have stock market analysts who are recommending the same stocks, and they are buying the same shares, and everyone is buying the same time and everyone sells at the same time. So it's like a head mentality, but Warren Buffett is detached from that. He makes independent decisions, which contributes to how successful he is in investing. He reads a lot. His first wife actually said that he would always be up in his room reading. He's humble. He accepts his mistakes. For example, when he made his mistake with the Tesco purchase, he later on sold. He acknowledged that he had made a mistake, and that's one thing I like about Warren Buffett. He is lavish with praise to his managers, so he always gives them praise whenever they do well. He writes about them in his annual reports and gives them mention when it's due. he associates with like-minded people, Bill Gates and other billionaires. This doesn't mean that we should not associate with poor people or people that are below us, but we will gain more from spending time with people who are like-minded. And there's a saying that goes, you're the average of the 5 people that you associate with. And then he also says that we should stick to what we know. He calls this a circle of competence, and Warren Buffett has been in his game for over 50 years now. So Warren is hardworking. This is a very obvious fact. He still tap dances to work at the age of 80. He also gives about 4% of his wealth to charity every year through the Bill Gates Foundation, and this is very, very important, especially as a person of faith. I also give about 10% of my income every single year. This is very important as well, so for Christians and non-Christians alike. So the conclusion is that most people in the richest list are investors, and Warren Buffett is one of these people, and he is one of the best investors of all times. And I just personally learned from these people, and by learning from the best, you actually improve your chances of success. Sorry for the typo there. And you may not want to be a billionaire, but these tips will help you live a comfortable life. So you might not even be a millionaire, but you might use some of these tips to pay off your mortgage, pay off your credit cards, and just live a life of freedom, which you can do your things in your own time, have free time to spend with your kids and family. So basically, when you get understanding, you empower yourself.